We're reading from chapter 10, verse 19. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Hantate Katayishyami Divyahyatma Vibhutayaha Pradhanyata Kuru Shreshta Nastyanto Vistarasya Me. Supreme Personality of Godhead said, yes, I will tell you of my splendorous manifestations, but only of those which are prominent, O Arjuna, for my opulence is limitless. But it is not possible to comprehend the greatness of Krishna and his opulences. It is not possible. The senses of the individual soul are limited and do not permit him to understand the totality of Krishna's affairs. Still, the devotees try to understand Krishna, but not on the principle that they will be able to understand Krishna fully at any specific time or in any state of life. Rather, the very topics of Krishna are so relishable that they appear to the devotees as nectar. Thus, the devotees enjoy them, irrespective of whether how much we can understand. Topics of Krishna are relishable. And Prabhupada is saying devotees enjoy them. And this enjoyment is not like the sense enjoyment kind of thing. It is natural enjoyment because, see, we don't have a natural attraction to Krishna consciousness like we have towards sense objects. So when we see sense objects, we automatically find happiness, we enjoy. But when we experience the same enjoyment with respect to Krishna, that is not material, because that is not that is something which is intrinsic to us and which is manifesting because we are associating with Krishna. In discussing Krishna's opulences and his diverse energies, the pure devotees take transcendental pleasure. Therefore, they want to hear and discuss them. Interestingly, if you see, when we meet, what we discuss, we are still so stuck with our own anarthas and problems and struggles. We just keep discussing our own problems and how to solve them and all that. But actually, we should be discussing Krishna. Because when we discuss Krishna, automatically our material situation will get sorted out. So pure devotees, they don't discuss their situations, their life situation. They discuss about Krishna. And they take transcendental pleasure. Therefore, they want to hear and discuss them because they take transcendental pleasure. Krishna knows that living entities do not understand the extent of his opulences. It will be like, Krishna might be like looking at us and in one way laughing, saying that, these guys are trying to understand me. But then he's happy like a father, saying, okay, good. Anyway, they're trying. So he therefore agrees to state only the principal manifestations of his different energies. The word pradhanyatha, principle, is very important because we can understand only a few of the principal details of the Supreme Lord, for his features are unlimited. And we cannot even understand how unlimited Krishna's features are, because whatever we've read, we might think, okay, Krishna present in the spiritual world, but he also enters into each and every atom in this material world. He's there, he's here, but he's not there. We can't really understand them. We just heard them, but we can't really understand them because his features are unlimited. It is not possible to understand them all. And Vibhuti, as used in this verse, refers to the opulences by which he controls the whole manifestation. In the Amarakosha dictionary, it is stated that Vibhuti indicates an exceptional opulence. The impersonalist or pantheist cannot understand the exceptional opulence of the Supreme Lord, nor the manifestations of his diverse energies. Both in the material world and in the spiritual world, his energies are distributed in every variety of manifestation. Now, Krishna is describing what can be directly perceived by the common man. Thus, part of his variegated energy is described in that way. Aham Atma Gudakesha Sarvabhutashaya Stitaha aham adishcha madhyam cha bhutanamanta eva cha. I am the super soul, Arjuna, seated in the hearts of all living entities. I am the beginning, middle, and the end of all beings. In this verse, Arjuna is addressed as Gudakesha, which means one who has conquered the darkness of sleep. For those who are sleeping in the darkness of ignorance, it is not possible to understand how the Supreme Personality of Godhead manifests himself in various ways in the material and spiritual worlds. Thus, this address by Krishna to Arjuna is significant because Arjuna is above such darkness. The personality of Godhead agrees to describe his various opulences. Krishna first informs Arjuna that he is the soul of the entire cosmic manifestation by dint of his primary expansion. Before the material creation, the Supreme Lord, by his plenary expansion, accepts the Purusha incarnation, and from him everything begins. Therefore, he is Atma, the soul of the Mahatattva, the universal elements. Because actually, without him being the Atma of the universal elements, material energy cannot do anything. The total material energy is not the cause of the creation. Actually, Mahavishnu enters into Mahatattva, the total material energy. So without Mahavishnu entering Mahatattva, creation cannot happen. So he is the soul. When Mahavishnu enters into manifested universe, he again manifests himself as a super soul in each and every entity. So here, Mahavishnu enters Mahatattva and as the soul, and then he enters as a super soul of all living, exists as super soul in all living entities, and also enters the atoms. We have experienced that the personal body of the living entity exists due to the presence of the spiritual spark. Without the existence of the spiritual spark, the body cannot develop. Similarly, the material manifestation cannot develop unless the Supreme Soul Krishna enters. As stated in the Subala Upanishad, Prakrityadi Sarva Bhutantaryami Sarva Sheshina Narayanaha. Supreme Personality of Godhead is existing as a super soul in all manifested universes. The three Purusha avatars are described in Srimad Bhagavatam. They are also described in the Narada Pancharatra, one of the Satvata Tantras. Vishnustu Trini Rupani Purushakhyani Yatho Viduhu. The Supreme Personality of Godhead manifests three features as Karanodakashaya Vishnu, Garbhodakashaya Vishnu, and Kshirodakashaya Vishnu in this material manifestation. The Mahavishnu or Karanodakashaya Vishnu is described in the Brahma Samhita. Yakkaranarnava Jale Bhajatisma Yoga Nidram Yoga Nidram. The Supreme Lord Krishna, the cause of all causes, lies down in the cosmic ocean as Mahavishnu. Therefore, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the beginning of this universe, the maintainer of the universal manifestations and the end of all energy. So in the Gunavataras, Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara, that Vishnu is Kshirodakashaya Vishnu. That is the third form, third Purusha Avatara. So Karanodakashaya Vishnu lies in the causal ocean. From his body pores come out unlimited Brahmandas, universes, and then he enters into each and every universe, covers the universe by his sweat, Garbha Udaka, half of it. Then he lies down on that water, and then from his navel comes lotus. In the stem of the lotus, on top of the lotus flower is Brahma, and then in the stem is all the 14 planetary systems. And then Garbhodakashaya Vishnu again enters as Kshirodakashaya Vishnu into each and every atom and also the bodies of all living entities. Therefore, without Vishnu, this material universe cannot exist, cannot manifest. So, Krishna's plenary expansions, these are plenary expansions. Plenary means complete, but they are expansions and they have certain qualities. They don't have all the qualities that Krishna has because they don't need those qualities in the form of Vishnu. Okay. So I'm the beginning, middle, and the end of all beings. That means he is the end all, he is everything. 10.21. Adityanamaham Vishnu Jyotisham Raviram Shuman Marichir Marutam Asmi Nakshatranamaham Shashi. Of the Adityas I am Vishnu, of lights I am the radiant sun, of the Maruts I am Marichi, and among the stars I am the moon. So now Krishna starts to describe his principal opulences. There are 12 Adityas, of which Krishna is the principal. Among all the luminaries shining in the sky, the sun is the chief. And in the Brahma Samhita, the sun is accepted as the glowing eye of the Supreme Lord. There are 50 varieties of wind blowing in space, and of these winds, the controlling deity Marichi represents Krishna. Represents Krishna, meaning that Krishna has empowered these entities to hold some very significant positions in the material universe. So their strength or their position, their power is represents Krishna, because it is coming from Krishna, because it's exceptional strength, exceptional opulence. Among the stars, the moon is the most prominent at night, and thus the moon represents Krishna. It appears from this verse that the moon is one of the stars. Therefore, the stars that twinkle in the sky also reflect the light of the sun. But our science teaches us something else. Theory that there are many suns within the universe is not accepted by Vedic literature. The sun is one, and as by the reflection of the sun, the moon illuminates. So also do the stars. So everything is a reflection of the sun. Since Bhagavad Gita indicates herein that the moon is one of the stars, the twinkling stars are not suns, but are similar to the moon. For those interested in science, you can understand this. 1.22. Vedanam samvedosmi devanam asmi vasavaha indriyanam manaschasmi bhutanam asmi chetana. Of the Vedas, I am the Samaveda. Of the demigods, I am Indra, the king of heaven. Of the senses, I am the mind. And in living beings, I am the living force, consciousness. So the consciousness in the living entity is Krishna. The senses, I am the mind. That is why it is so difficult to control the mind, because mind is very powerful, because it represents Krishna. The difference between matter and spirit is that matter has no consciousness like the living entity. Therefore, this consciousness is supreme and eternal. Consciousness cannot be produced by combination of matter. So this critical consciousness is Krishna. Rudranam Shankaraschasmi Vittesho Yaksha Rakshasam Vasunam Pavakaschasmi Merushikarinam Aham. Of all the Rudras, I am Lord Shiva. Of the Yakshas and Rakshasas, I am Kuvera. Of the Vasus, I am fire, and of mountains, I am Meru. There are 11 Rudras, of whom Shankara, Lord Shiva, is predominant. He is the incarnation of the Supreme Lord in charge of the mode of ignorance in the universe. The leader of Yakshas and Rakshasas is Kuvera, the master treasurer of the demigods, and he is a representation of the Supreme Lord. Meru is a mountain famed for its rich natural resources. So this Meru is actually in the middle of the Bhumandala. It appears, it's like a peg in the middle of Bhumandala. Just show this quickly. One second. Yeah. So this is the actually this is the vision of Jambu Dvipa. Okay, let me 1 second. Let me show a few more things. Share screen. One second. Okay, so this one, I don't know how clear it is. So this is this is Earth. Okay. In this Earth, there are multiple dvipas. So the center, in the center, this, you might see one golden color circle. This is Jambudvipa. Okay, around that you see one blue color, that is the saltwater ocean. And then there are other dvipas. There are 9 dvipas. Or 7 dvipas, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 dvipas. So there are 7 islands, and between each of these islands there is an ocean of like salt water. Then there is liquor, then there's ghee, then there is milk, then there's yogurt, and then there is drinkable water, etc. So there are multiple. Were you able to see that? Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
You're able to see
Prabhuji.
that? Huh?
Not very clear. But
not very clear.
We were able to.
This, but it's very. So I'll show you the. You're able to see this now. You're able to see this Mount Sumeru.
Yes.
Okay. So here, so this central, that central one golden spot. Okay, let me. Okay, one second. I'll show you another image for that. Okay, you can see this Goloka chart. You can see this.
Yes.
Okay. So this is a better view of Bhumandala. So this middle one is actually the Jambudvipa, and the center of Jambudvipa, Mount Sumeru is there. This is what this verse is referring to, Meru. Now around that is blue, is the saltwater ocean. Then the next, this is called, so central one is called Jambudvipa. Then it's called Plakshadvipa. Plakshadvipa is surrounded by sugarcane juice, ocean of sugarcane juice. Then there is Salmaladvipa. Salmaladvipa is covered by ocean of liquor. Then there is Kushadvipa, covered by ocean of liquid ghee. Kraunchadvipa, covered by ocean of milk. Shakadvipa, which is ocean of milk. And then ocean of churned yogurt. And then Pushkaradvipa, covered by tasteful water. Then there is something called as Loka Loka, which is golden land. Okay, in this golden land, anything that falls, you cannot make out. It just glitters. So you can't really make out what. So nobody lives here. This is Loka Aloka. So nobody stays here. Only living entities stay in this Bhumandala, in these different dvipas. And then after, beyond that is what is called as Aloka Varsha. So this is all Bhagavatam. So this Jambu, so in the center of Jambu Dvipa, so this is what I'm showing now. This is Jambu Dvipa. So Jambu Dvipa has 9 Varshas, okay, of which there is Bharata Varsha, where we stay. Bharata Varsha, Kim Pursha, Hari, Ketumala, Ilavrata, Bhadrashva, Ramyaka, Hiranmaya, and Kuru. Okay, now in the center of this Jambu Dvipa is Mount Sumeru. Mount Sumeru is again covered on 4 sides by 4 mountains, Neela, Gandhamadana, Malyavan, and Nishada. Anyway, these things are there. In Bharata Varsha, there is Bharatakanda, like in India and all these various continents, etc. One more thing I want to show. It's very interesting. Had I shown this before? All right.
Yes, Prabhuji.
We had shown this. Okay, I don't know if any people remember. So this is the Bharata Varsha. This is the pieces of land that exist in Bharata Varsha. So this looks like 2 maple leaves, 3 maple leaves, and 1 rabbit. Now, if you reverse this, this is the vision of our so-called geography, whatever we have read, studied, North America, South America, Africa, India, China, Australia, etc. And so this description is from the Vedas. That Bharata Varsha actually composes of lands which are shaped like this. And we just have to reverse it to get the current geographical understanding of this Bharata Varsha. So that Bharata Varsha is here, and center of Jambu Dvipa is this Mount Sumeru. Okay, so that is about Meru. So my Meru is a mountain famed for its rich natural resources. So this we will discuss when we come to Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam has beautiful description in the 5th canto of various of these. Of this full geography is there in the 5th canto. We'll come to that later. Okay, 10:24. Purodasham cha mukhyam mam Viddipartha Brahaspatim Senaninam Aham Skandha Sarasam Asmi Sagaraha. O priest, O Arjuna, know me to be the chief Brahaspati. Of generals, I am Kartikeya, and of bodies of water, I am the ocean. Indra is the chief demigod of the heavenly planets and is known as the king of heavens. Krishna already told that he is Indra. The planet on which he reigns is called Indraloka. Brahaspati is Indra's priest, and since Indra is the chief of kings, Brahaspati is the chief of priests. And as Indra is the chief of all kings, similarly Skanda, Kartikeya, son of Parvati and Lord Shiva, is the chief of all military commanders. And of all bodies of water, the ocean is the greatest. These representations of Krishna only give hints of his greatness. And why is Krishna giving all these? Just so that we have faith in him. Krishna can do anything. But still we don't have full faith in Krishna. 10.25. Maharshinam Bhruguraham Giramasmi Ekam Aksharam Yagnanam Japayagnosmi Stavaranam Himalaya. The great sages, I am Bhrugu. Of vibrations, I am the transcendental Om. Of sacrifices, I am the chanting of the holy name, Japa. So Japa is also Krishna. And of immovable things, I am the Himalayas. Brahma, the first living creature within the universe, created several suns for the propagation of various kinds of species. Among these suns, Bhrigu is the most powerful sage. Of all the transcendental vibrations, Om represents Krishna. Of all sacrifices, the chanting of the Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare is the purest representation of Krishna. Sometimes animal sacrifices are recommended, but in the sacrifice of Hare Krishna, there is no question of violence. It is the simplest and the purest. Whatever is sublime in the words is a representation of Krishna. Sublime means, in Kannada, the word is bhavya. Hindi also bhavya. Therefore, the Himalayas, the greatest mountains in the world, also represent him. The mountain name Meru was mentioned in a previous verse, but Meru is sometimes movable. This is amazing. Meru is sometimes movable, whereas Himalayas are never movable. Thus, Himalayas are greater than Meru. In 0.26. Ashwata sarva vrikshanam devarshinam cha naradaha gandharvanam chitraratha siddhanam kapilo munihi. Of all the trees, I am the banyan. The sages among the demigods, I am Narada. The Gandharvas, I am Chitraratha. And among perfected beings, I am the sage Kapila. Actually, this Ashwata is people tree, but for some reason it's translated as banyan, and we'll keep it that way. Ashwata is one of the highest and most beautiful trees, and people in India often worship it as one of their daily morning rituals. Amongst the demigods, they also worship Narada, who is considered the greatest devotee in the universe. Prabhupada is saying, consider greatest devotee in the universe, because gopis are the greatest. Thus, he is the representation of Krishna as a devotee. He is a representation of Krishna as devotee, but Arjuna is a representation of Krishna as devotee as well. The Gandharva planet is filled with entities who sing beautifully, and among them the best singer is Chitraratha. Among the perfect living entities, Kapila, the son of Devahuti, is a representative of Krishna. He is considered an incarnation of Krishna, and his philosophy is mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Sankhya. Later on, another Kapila became famous, but his philosophy was atheistic. Thus, there's a gulf of difference between them. 10.27. Uchchaishavasam ashvanam viddhimam amrutodbhavam airavatam gajendranam naranam cha naradipam. Of horses know me to be Uchchaishrava, produced through the churning of the ocean of nectar. Of lordly elephants, I am Airavata, which was also produced from churning. And among men, I am the monarch. The devotee demigods and the demons once took part in churning the sea. From this churning, nectar and poison were produced, and Lord Shiva drank the poison, hala hala. From the nectar were produced many entities, of which there was a horse named Uchchaishrava. Another animal produced from the nectar was an elephant named Airavata. Because these two animals were produced from the nectar, they have special significance and they are representatives of Krishna. Amongst the human beings, the king is the representative of Krishna because Krishna is the maintainer of the universe. And the kings who are appointed on account of their godly qualifications are maintainers of their kingdoms. Kings like Maharaja Yudhishthira, Maharaja Parikshit, and Lord Rama were all highly righteous kings who always thought of the citizens' welfare. In the Vedic literature, the king is considered to be the representative god. Naradipa, Nara. In this age, however, with the corruption of the principles of religion, monarchy decayed and is now finally abolished. It is to be understood that in the past, however, people were more happy under righteous kings. 10.28. Ayudanamaham vajram dhenunam kamaduk prajanaschasmi kandarpa sarpanam asmi vaspihi. Of weapons I am the thunderbolt, among cows I am the surabhi. Of causes for procreation I am Kandarpa, the god of love, Cupid, and of serpents I am Vasuki. The thunderbolt, indeed a mighty weapon, represents Krishna's power. So we'll read about how Indra got his thunderbolt in Bhagavatam. Story of Rudrasura. In Krishna Loka, in the spiritual sky, there are cows which can be milked at any time and they give as much milk as one likes. Of course, such cows do not exist in this material world, but there is mention of them in Krishna Loka. The Lord keeps many such cows which are called Surabhi. It is stated that the Lord is engaged in herding the Surabhi cows. Kandarpa is the sex desire for presenting good sons. Therefore, Kandarpa is the representative of Krishna. Sometimes sex is engaged in only for sense gratification, which is most common in this fallen material Kali Yuga. Such sex does not represent Krishna, but sex for the generation of good children is called Kandarpa and represents Krishna. 0.29. Anantaschasmi naganam runo yadasam aham pitrunam aryama chasmi yamah samyamatamaham. Of the many hooded nagas, I am Ananta. Among aquatics, I am demigod Varuna. Of departed ancestors, I am Aryama. And among dispensers of law, I am Yama, the Lord of Death. Among the many hooded naga serpents, Ananta is the greatest, as is the demigod Varuna among the aquatics. They both represent Krishna. There's also a planet of Pita's ancestors presided over by Aryama, who represents Krishna. There are many living entities who give punishment to the miscreants, and among them Yama is the chief. Yama is situated in a planet near this earthly planet. After death, those who are very sinful are taken there, and Yama arranges different kinds of punishments for them. That also we learn in the 5th canto, 26th chapter. 10.30. Prahladashchasmi daityanam kalak kalayatamaham mruganam cha mrugendroham vayateyascha pakshinam. Among the Daitya demons, I am the devoted Prahlada. Among subduers, I am time. Among beasts, I am the lion. And among birds, I am Garuda. Diti and Aditi are two sisters. The sons of Aditi are called Adityas and the sons of Diti are called Daityas. All the Adityas are devoted to the Lord and all the Daityas are atheistic. Although Prahlada was born in the family of Daityas, he was a great devotee from his childhood. Because of his devotional service and godly nature, he is considered to be representative of Krishna. We glorify Prahlad Maharaj in 7th canto of Bhagavatam. There are many subduing principles, but time wears down all things in the material universe, and so represents Krishna. Of the many animals, the lion is the most powerful and ferocious, and of the million varieties of birds, Garuda, the bearer of Lord Vishnu, is the greatest. Okay. So I think we'll stop here. Anybody has anything to say, ask?